I would say this time has been, I mean, if this is like a PSA to people, for me, I will take the hate, and I understand I looked insane on the show, but if we can just, for me, it hurts to see Shanté going through what she's going through and the things that people are saying to her. So as a boyfriend, I would just show, if we could show a little more kindness, understand, you don't have all the answers and you don't know every reason behind everything we did, and you never will. But we respect the disagreement, but please just be a little more kind, because it does take effect on both of us. I think I called her this morning, part of my emotional opening. And I was like, babe, just come downstairs. I said, this is just really getting to me. As much as I don't want to fight it, it's every time seeing our relationship on TikTok and pictures of us, and people are like, this is the most atrocious couple you'll ever see, And it's like, we've worked through a lot of that, and we want people to enjoy us as a couple. So that would be my only thing. Like, for me, I get it. I look, Mark,
Yeah.
I'm surprised Mark didn't flat me like on TV. Like,
Nah,
I look
man.
crazy.
Yeah,
look
look.
crazy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bonfire Talks with me, Mark Walberg. Really great episode coming up. I got great guests that I know you want to hear from. I can't wait to talk to them again. But anyway, say hello to Kaylin, my producer and friend.
Hi, Mark.
Not in that order.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, buddy. It's been a trip. We shot this show in May, and then I don't see a frame of it. I kind of have a memory of what it was, and then it goes on, and then March comes around, and it drops like all 10 episodes, and it's like you go from 0 to 60. So my head has been kind of reeling with, first of all, like, wow, okay, that was going on between the lines. That would have been interesting to know, and just watching and then reading everybody's Instagrams and seeing like where they are now, and just so much drama, so much. And I'm not about it. I'm about doing my thing, which I dig. I really, really dig. And I'm about investing in these people from a core, like for real. But then all the swirl that goes around it. I mean, those of you who sent comments to me and want me to be your therapist and stuff like that, besides being somewhat misguided, I'm really grateful for that. So let me just say, all the love, I'm bathing in it. It feels so good, and I'm so grateful. And a couple of you that tell me I look like Ellen DeGeneres, I can't be mad at that. I mean, and then the rest of you are saying my teeth are distracting. Let's just talk about that for a minute, Kaylin. Can we just get that out of the way?
Are we doing that now? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there's the Mark Walberg thing that I had to work through with you.
Yeah, well, we're still working through it.
We're working through it, but I'm much better placed now.
Good.
With the show on the air, it's top 5. Kind of helps.
Yeah.
But then there's like this whole Reddit, and by the way, Reddit equals bad place for me.
That's mean.
About these crazy-ass veneers that are shining like a laser from Mars, and they're distracting, and I can't even watch him. That's why he looks so evil. Look, let's just call this shit out right now, okay? You're not wrong. My teeth, up till me doing this, have always been a thing that's made me self-conscious, right? It doesn't matter if you thought I look okay. I didn't smile because of it. The way my teeth were shaped, they were yellow. I just was never not aware of it. And so I saw somebody who had teeth that looked so natural, and they sent me to this dentist, and he did a whole thing that literally changed my whole face. Made my jawline better. I'm sleeping better. I'm breathing better. All that stuff you say, like I got a nose job because it was a deviated septum, whatever. It was cosmetic, but it really made a difference. Like, really made a difference. And they tell you, like, what shade you want. And the first one's in, I'm like, those are too bright. Take it down a notch. And the second one's in, I'm like, I fucking look great, right? But let me just say it like this. I get it. They're like, there's no question they're not my original teeth. I always say I'm like the white Steve Harvey. I get it. But you know how you see, and I don't want to get in trouble and get canceled on this. You know how you see a girl who's had breast augmentation, and you know they're fake. Like, there's no question they're fake, but she digs them. Yeah. She feels better. These are my boobs. All right? deal with it. I feel better. I smile more. I don't care what it looks like. It hurts my feelings when you call it out, but I get it. But this is like that for me. Do you get it?
I think that's a good analogy.
I probably offended everybody, but I think it's clear. It's like people sometimes get nose jobs with look, these women do their lips like, come on. You know that's not nothing that happens in nature, but you feel better about yourself. So, no body shaming. I got you. So no teeth shaming, you guys. Look, I'm smiling. I'm so much happier as a human. Thanks for your support. All right, let's get to what we're really talking about here. I invited this couple who are, for better or worse, stars of this season of Temptation Island. Nobody can stop talking about these two, Brion and Shanté. And I'll say, I invited them to come on my podcast, knowing you've probably been on other people's podcasts, knowing that when they said there was no reunion, that all the tea just spilled everywhere. But I want to say I've got questions and thoughts and love for you guys in your journey that may be unpopular for the haters that you're experiencing. So first of all, everybody in the studio audience, everybody, round of applause for Brion and Shanté coming to the podcast. That, if you were to do the algorithm, that's like thunderous applause with a real audience. Hi, guys. How are you?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
How you doing?
Thanks for asking. I'm great. I joke about every time I have somebody on the show, I get so pumped. I'm so excited to see you like your family. And then I realize that your experience of me is on the other side of the bonfire. So it's probably just like trigger central and it's just freaking you out. I come in peace. Okay. First of all, tell me how you guys are doing.
Well, we've actually been pretty great since the show. Obviously, with the episodes coming out, it's been a little bit of a rough 2 weeks. I definitely think I took the brunt of the stuff, so it's been a little hard for me. But just kind of being true to who I am and true to like my own truth of what was going on the show has kind of held me down, and of course him. But doing better.
But you guys as a couple, Brion?
Yeah. So since the show, it's been a lot of work, but a lot of good times, a lot of open conversations, and we've really grown in our relationship. I've grown tremendously as a man in general. And this time it's definitely been tough. A lot of things have been said about us and individually. And for me, it's most embarrassing because I'm the one who put her through. I'm the only reason she's getting all the backlash, right, is because of my actions. So I've been just trying to be there for her and, just console her, reassure her. And but it's been tough since the show came out, for sure.
Here's an interesting point that I think people don't consider is that we shot the thing in May.
Yeah.
It went down. Emotions were raw. You made decisions. It went like your final bonfire. I couldn't have predicted. I was sure you weren't going, Shanté. But I also, in a moment, I want to tell you that I really thought about this, and now I get it, or I'd like to ask you if I get it, right? I just want to let you know that I don't take it lightly, like you're, whatever. But, so you come off the island, and now you got to start rebuilding this relationship. Yeah. And you get to do that pretty much in anonymity for almost a year.
Right.
So before it aired, where would you say you were and what was that journey like for you? I hate to use journey, but let's just stay with the theme. What was that journey like for you from when you got back to the island going, okay, a lot's happened. Where are we?
Yeah, I think for the both of us, I would say that a lot of communication had to be built back up and a lot of trust, obviously. We had to just be honest and open just with what each of us were going through individually to see if we were going to continue our relationship outside of the show. I think that everyone just kind of assumed because I chose to stay that it meant we were going to make it through everything, and we just went back to our like happy-go-lucky lives and everything was just fine and dandy, and that is just like not the case. I think personally for me, I just wanted to be able to have like a very open and real conversation away from cameras and just be able to kind of get my side of what was going on from him. But yeah, it took a lot. I mean, we both have been in therapy since the show.
Wow.
Thank the
It's
Lord.
not a surprise hearing it from you, Shanté, but I'm so happy to hear, Brion, that you've gotten into some therapy because, I mean, I think it's good for everybody, but wow, good for you.
Yeah. And then that's 100%. I didn't believe in therapy before the show, right? That just wasn't something I even thought about. But I think kudos to you being an incredible host. You kind of were our therapist on the show, and you open up a lot. And, I started to figure a lot of things out about myself where I wanted to continue that off the island. And it has been an incredible thing. We've got great mentors now, just older couples who we talk to and we learn from. So it's been a journey for sure. But I've just taken accountability. I've been a man. There's a lot of tears those first, few weeks off the island, and some tears still happen. It's a very real thing what happened, and I did make a lot of mistakes on national TV. But all I can do is continue to grow and be better, and that's what I'm working for.
Okay, so that to me is like I could cry right now with you. And so I guess this is a good time for me to apologize to you, Brion. When I watch the show back, it's like the last bonfire we have where I ask you about your experience growing up. And I guess, look, I'm a game show host. I'm not a therapist. But if there's things I say that land, that warms my heart, it comes from experience. It comes from a place of love. And, I've lived longer, so I know some stuff. Or I think I do. Yeah. I just wish I'd have asked you earlier. Because that's what opened you up, I think, was that conversation. And for the viewer, and quite frankly, I mean, I'm grateful to the viewers because, it pays my bills and we do the show for the viewers. But for the viewer, an understanding of not the behavior. I mean, I've seen it. Threesomes are not new on my show. It's kind of like people expect them, right? So thanks for that. Yeah. I appreciate that, I guess, for checking the box. Just jokes. But what I had trouble getting my head around that is so evident to me now is how you could compartmentalize that behavior without emotion from this love you have for Shanté.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let me say to you, I wish I'd have asked earlier. I could have probably helped quicker. So I'm sorry about that.
No, and well, I accept your apology. I think you did a great job. I think everything on the show lined up how it was supposed to, right? I'm kind of one of those people, like you learn lessons when you learn them. And I think I had to go through everything I had to go through. And, when that conversation came up, that's when it was supposed to come up. So I just want to say, I do really appreciate you. I'll accept the apology, but I think you did. I have no complaints. I think you really, you opened something up I had kind of pushed away for a long time, just with my life and just from high school to college to working. And never really got to sit with myself and deal with my past issues. So I accept it, but no, don't beat yourself up. I think you did a phenomenal job.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. I don't think you pushed it down. I think you developed skills to survive.
Yeah.
And it's not a story that's unique, sadly. And it gave me a real insight to you and a grace for you. Now, Shanté, I want to turn to you. Because you, I'm sure, have just caught a raft of shit because by the numbers from the snapshot they see, they're like, girl, you need to leave that man.
Yeah.
Right? And then you had this really uncomfortable, I call it an unsettling experience for me sitting in my chair where I felt like, and not putting words in your mouth, I felt like going into the bonfire, you'd kind of made a decision, I'm leaving. And that may not be true, but that's just what the vibe was. And then you see him, and then you change your mind. Now, here's what I'm getting to. For those of us who don't know you, and we are sitting on our couch, and we got all the fucking answers, all of them. We're like, girl, if I were you, I'd just tell you to leave. From where I was sitting, I kind of agreed. But then I was grappling with, do I intervene and say something like, look, you can leave, but that doesn't mean, I don't know, I lost them.
Yeah, hold on. I think something happened on their end.
Uh-oh.
Turn that fan off back there, because just watching it on the monitor, I think it's a little distracting.
We apologize greatly.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, all good.
It's a podcast. It's me.
Okay.
Yeah, don't
We're
worry.
like, is it live?
Kalen's gonna have to do some magic editing, but
That's what I do.
that's what he do.
So you remember where you're at, Mark?
I remember.
All right,
I've been waiting to say this for months.
I pick back up.
So, if I were just like, Shanté, this is about you and me and our relationship, which matters to me. When you walked off and you needed a minute to catch your breath, if I was like that TV host that's like trying to make a TV show, I would have walked up to you and said, look, break up with him now and get back together with him when you get home.
Right.
Right? And you'll come out looking like a winner, and the audience gets what they want, and then you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But as you guys, maybe not the audience may not buy this, but hopefully you guys do because we've been together. That's not my vibe. My vibe is real. My vibe is I care. And I'm looking at you, and what brief moments I had with you, I said, here's what I know about her. She's strong as an ox. She's smarter than a whip. She's in control of her emotions more than I'm comfortable with, but there's a reason. And so even though it felt like, and I'm just going to say the way it felt to me, Brion, that you're a master salesman, you predicted how it would go, you made your pitch, tears came when they needed to, and she's like, okay, I'll leave with you. And as you left, it leaves the audience because of the way TV's cut, like, oh my God, he's like, she's a hostage, right? So that's the ugly spin on it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to tell you my overthinking on this, and you tell me if I'm anywhere close to it, and then tell me what it's actually for you. Here's what I came to. What if Shanté knows Brion's entire childhood and past? What if Shanté's very clear on where Brion is terrific and the parts of him that are broken? And what if Shanté is at a level that many never see, that the sex part, while painful, is not as important as the emotional part? So if that's true, then maybe Shanté is able to look past this, what seemed to be completely compartmentalized and non-emotional sexual extravaganza that made me feel like less of a man, by the way. Sorry, just that was a bad joke. But if in fact you knew all the details that I only started to know, then there's grace and space to go, and now your words make sense to me. In the real world, that's not who this man is, and I know who he is. So that's what I came to. I could be off base, but I'd like to hear more of what was going on through your mind.
Yeah, I would say you're pretty like head on with a lot of it. I did know everything that was going on with him prior to the show. I mean, we've developed such a good like friendship out of our relationship as well. So I probably know more, obviously more than he even shared.
Of course. Yeah, we just scratched the surface.
Yeah, I know the deep depths of it. And I just don't think in that moment or in our relationship, I had heard him relate that to why he had the other issues. Like, I don't think I ever heard him connect those dots. And I guess in that moment, for me personally, I was like very tired of the cameras. I know that there is this running thing saying that like I dissociated because I was just so distraught over Brion and like all these different things. But I was just I don't share a lot of my life with people, which, you know, go figure. I don't know why you came on a reality show, but that's what it is. And I was just very overwhelmed with like all the opinions I was getting because again, like, and the real world comment has been a very talked about thing because it's like, well, these are real actions. And I completely agree. Like that doesn't cancel out the fact that he did what he did. I think though, like, you know, it's a TV show. I think a lot of things were said to me as like, oh, this is just the island. Oh, this isn't the real world multiple times throughout my experience. So once you're just kind of in a mental state, you just kind of start to believe what's being told to you at that point. And so that's why that comment was made. I understand there are real actions. But in that moment, I just kind of wanted to separate being his girlfriend and being like a friend and a person that he trusts, because I feel like him telling me that in that moment wasn't I'm going to manipulate you and make you stay with me. I felt he was telling me because he knows, okay, she knows this about me, but I want her to know that I'm connecting this and that to become a person.
That's so important.
Yeah.
I was saying this the other day or a different episode. I watch Love is Blind, and I got all the answers. I'm judging this one. That guy's an asshole. This girl's this. This stuff. I got all the answers in a half an hour, right? And I encourage the viewers to do that because that's why they watch this stuff. The fallout is real people like you have to deal with everybody's opinions. But the point that you make that I think is really, really valuable is that when you're listening to him make his case and you're seeing who he shows up at that final bonfire, you're seeing with a context not only of the years you've been together, but the lifetime he shared about his pain and other stuff.
Right.
And so, and add to that, the part of you is like going, I just need to get the fuck out of here. You know, I'm done with this. I didn't want to be here. I don't know why I'm here. It's not me. Yeah. And I wouldn't say we battled, but I was constantly trying to get to a place where you not broke down, but you showed some emotion, some pain. And then I got to the fact that, look, everybody processes how they do. This is a strong woman. Yeah. She knows exactly what she's in, right? And then you choose what you need. So when you came off the island, were you guys just back to Brion and Shanté like it was before, or was there a...
No.
All right, tell us about that, because I think it's important context for people who've got opinions about you.
Yeah, no, it was, first of all, that first night, I think one of the good things, and we've seen kind of the issues with the other couples, is they try to go back and try to remember things. We got to sit in a hotel room for the whole entire night. No one went to bed, and we just talked about everything.
I was like, you sit all the way over there. Like, I know even in the final bonfire, we're hugging, and I like obviously don't look that excited because I know that like this really deep conversation is coming. Like, I'm finally getting what I wanted to have. And I don't know, it's just like hard to hide that emotion on screen. And
yeah, well, first of all, as much as we want you to have that conversation on screen, and you do to some degree at the final bonfire, not to the level that's going to happen as soon as you let it down and go, all right, it's me, it's you, let's chop this up.
Right.
So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, it's okay. I was like, you sit over there. I will sit all the way over here, and we'll talk about it. And I mean, that happened. I guess we were there for 3 days. Yeah. So it definitely did not go back to a happy-go-lucky. We're just having the time of our life. It was a really hard experience, a lot of tough conversation, but.
And I don't think I wanted it to go back to what it was, because what it was before was very surface level, right?
The whole reason people come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any change afterwards. And what did we just do any of this for, right? We came here to grow. So I'm glad there was hard times. I'm glad there was real conversation. I'm glad we didn't go back to what we used to be. But we get to rebuild from the ground up something that's actually sustainable and has a good foundation and that we can grow with. So.
Yeah, what I love about that is the context that viewers need to consider is that, I mean, the way the show, all these shows, not just our show, frame things is like, this is definitive and that's it. So when you say you're going back, from a viewer standpoint, it's like, oh, they're going back to their house, they're going to make love tonight, and all is forgotten and everything's good. And just as I said, you could break up with them here and get back with them later, like that kind of jaded look at things. The other is true. You can leave together, but that doesn't mean you leave as the couple you came here. And that doesn't mean that anybody's off any hook. That just means that there's a commitment for whatever reason that we're going to try to work things out. And then that you said, you sit over there, I'm sitting over here, was now that cameras are gone, like, all right, what the fuck happened? Let's talk about, let's break this down like friends and see if we can find our way back to lovers. Right?
Yep.
And exactly. I think that's important for people to get that, you know, a mature adult couple going through trauma either starts pointing fingers and blame, and we've seen that happen from other situations, or they lock themselves in a room and they chop it up until it's chopped.
Yeah.
I think that's you driving that bus, Shanté.
Yeah. And I don't think it came across on the show because, I mean, this was only 10 hours of a very long experience. Um, I think everyone assumes that I knew like every single thing that was going on the island. And I would even say like some of the bonfires that were clipped in the edit were not the exact bonfires that like I experienced like while I was on the island. So I feel like there was a few responses that I had with you that were made in the edit that like I don't even think that was like what it's fully shown. So it's just like edited a completely different way, you know, obviously to build like this character that they had of me. So it's just like having that security of, okay, I know exactly what's going on. And that's also holding him accountable for, are you going to tell me everything? Are you going to be honest about your entire journey and your words and your actions?
And
yeah,
you're having this conversation before you're going to see these 10 episodes. So if you don't get clear right now, you're going to bust yourself when the show airs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's just like, even like the big episode of the threesome, I don't even think like all the sounds, the noises and all of that, like that wasn't shown to me in my like bonfire clip. So I'm like,
it's just hard to hear.
Yeah. It's just like, there were certain pieces, like I heard voices and everything, but there were certain pieces that were just like a little different to me. So I was like, yeah, like this doesn't seem the same. So it's just like hard to have to relive all of that. So
yeah, I'll say this, and I'd have to fact check it. Your experience is one I've heard before. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure what you see at the bonfire is what ends up on the show. Now, our conversations, which are far more in depth, end up being clip, reaction, I say something wise, we're out, right? Yeah. And that's not how these things go down. For those of you watching this, it's not how it goes down. It's a much more organic conversation than that. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Shanté, you know, one of the battles for me with you wasn't a battle, but it was me trying to find where you live, right? Yeah. I saw this, and Brion refers to it all the time, that you're an incredible woman, that you're poised, you're always together, and you're wise, and you're not emotional, like needy and all that stuff, right? And I got that. But I wanted to see the vulnerability, which you then later show, like when you're in your bedroom, and I get that. There's a place that's appropriate for you and a place that isn't. I want to know if I want to know what, but if there's anything you learned about you that gave you insight of something you want to change or grow, rather than just watching Brion and deciding what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, what was it for you personally? Because my whole coaching is like, you can't do anything about him. What you can do is work on you. So what did you discover, if anything?
Yeah. I thought it was like pretty interesting, at least from my point of view, seeing myself and seeing how I like reacted from what was edited. I'm a really emotional person. Like I could see a cute dog walk outside and think it's the cutest thing ever and start crying. So I was really surprised that in those moments I wasn't crying. And I felt like I was like finding like this different depth of strength that I've like never really tapped into. Because I mean, you have to remember, you're without your phone, you're without family, you're without friends, you're without like a support system. Of course, the girls are there, the guys in the house are there, but like at the end of the day, you don't know how much you can trust people. Just to be honest with that, like not to say they aren't good people.
No, I get it. It's a fabricated situation.
Yeah. So I think in that moment, I was surprised in myself that I was not reacting in such a like emotional way at the first like clip or anything that I'm seeing. But it was more so of like, I think that I learned to process my emotions better versus it coming off as, oh, she can't show emotion and she's stonewall and she's been manipulated to not react. Like that is not the case at all. Like I think that I learned how to process and then react when it was appropriate. But of course, like no one's ever going to see me in the back with production boohoo crying and with different people, and like that's just not going to be on the edit. But I think that I just reacted more so when I got back to the house. And you have to remember, I'm being filmed the entire time. I'm not someone that's used to having that many eyes on me and like what I'm going through. So I just definitely think it was a time for me to tap into a different side of myself. And unfortunately, it comes off as I don't know how to show emotion and I can't
But let's turn the corner a little bit here, because I hear you. For me, watching you be kind of stony, not stony like high, but stony like rock solid in the bonfires when we're expecting you to break down like TV expects it, but then later seeing you at night with one of the girls sitting on your bed and losing it, then I'm like, yeah, I get that. Delayed reaction, I get that. So rather than talking about the edit and how that thing goes down, I mean, all of that's true and everything, but really my question is, through this process, and when you came back, were there things about who you are and how you operated before this emotionally, choking things back, showing it or not showing it, that you discovered and then can see it now? Does that make sense? Anything like that happen for you? It doesn't happen for everybody, you know, but I'm wondering if there's like some takeaway. I always say we're going to be different people at the end of this. In what way do you think you might have been you might be different on the other end of the taping?
Yeah, I think compressing my emotions in the sense of just not sharing that this is upsetting me and I want this to change was something like, you know, just want to keep the peace and not have any issues. But I know that there are issues to be talked about and there's issues to address. So I think that was just something good for me to learn as like a whole, because then now I'm not just holding on to a bunch of emotions, because I do believe I'm a really big empath of a person. So even example on the show, like I love all of those girls, but I was also like holding in what they were going through. Like might not see it, but we had a lot of really deep conversations, like me, Taylor, me and Alexa. Like there's so many things that I think I was trying to help others with too, but I also have to help myself. So that was definitely something to learn in that experience.
Yeah, go ahead, Brion. What were you going to say?
Oh, yeah, no, I would say I think that's one of the biggest things I've seen from her, right? I think her confidence is like she is approaching issues now, you know? She is the most easygoing person, but now if there's something she doesn't like, she's like, babe, we're going to sit and talk about this. Like, we're going to figure this out. Yeah, so it's
kind of sucks. Kind of sucks. I always say my marriage is a full contact marriage, because there's no way anything's sitting in the cabinet not getting talked about. You know?
Yeah, and that's been beautiful to see. I mean, I love it, right? Because I want to be held accountable, and it's you know, it's something that I really wanted for her, and now she does, you know. And then another thing I would say, I think your confidence in like from being in the house with 12 guys and having to be fun and whatnot, and then now she has a Pilates things going on, and they're like, you're just so confident, like you're like made for the, you know, to be on stage, and I just think she's just grown so much in that area as well too. So it's just like she has a whole new like shoulders back a little bit about her, you know. And I think I humbled myself and realized this is a very valuable woman that I have. And that's someone I should be proud of. And she's like, yeah, you do have a very valuable woman. And she's just kind of taken out ownership upon herself. So
that which does not kill us makes us stronger is what that makes me think. Yeah. So whether you see the growth or change, it looks like it's reflecting from people in your circle. Yeah. You know, I wish I could like have a meeting with all the cast members before the show airs to say, hey, you're about to go through the fire. It's going to suck. People have an opinion about anything. I used to joke that if you want to do a dating show, put two people on a couch with no sound, and everybody will have an opinion should they stay together or break up without anybody saying anything. You want to talk about Love is Blind? It's like, I don't need any information. He's wrong for her, just by the way they sit, right? So if I had that time with you and the others, I'd say, look, everybody's got an opinion. It's worth exactly what you paid for it. It's going to suck for longer than you think, and then it's going to be gone. Yeah. Just a vapor. And then what's left on the other end of it is you and you and you.
Yeah.
And
I think
go ahead, Brion.
I'll say I think that's been a very hard thing for us, is hearing everyone's opinions, and we want to fight them so bad and like combat it and, you know, get on, you know, the Twitter fingers and TikToks and everything. But you're completely right. Like you just understand what you're going through and stay with each other. So I was just like seconding, because you are spot on right now, what you're saying, as usual. But yeah.
My man. I mean, I was talking with Grant, and he kind of came to, you know, he spent so much energy trying to correct the record. You know, that's not what was said. That's not what it is. That's not where I'm coming from. And that's exhausting, and you don't win. There's no way to win it. You come up with receipts, somebody else comes up with receipts. Everybody's got an opinion. And so he's really kind of had to grow into this is the Mel Robbins thing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Mel Robbins is a author and spiritual teacher and emotional intelligent genius. And she says, in general, let them. Like, what does it look like to say, and my wife puts it differently. My wife kind of puts it in the sense of like, what's in your head? Thanks for sharing, you know? And then you deal with you. So I'm going to ask the same question to you, Brion. I think you've hit it a little bit, but there's Brion coming into this. There's Brion during this. There's Brion watching the show. But in the time from you taping the show and it airing, if anything, what moved for you? What did you learn about you that significantly changed the way you approach life now? And if the answer is nothing, yeah, it's a reality show. I get it, you know. But if there's something there that helps somebody else, I'd like to hear it.
Oh yeah, no, I've learned a lot. Well, one, I think going into the show, I was very egotistical. I think I had a huge ego, and I just, kind of walked around like my shit doesn't stink. And I learned, I got humbled, very quickly. And I've learned to be more open. I've learned to communicate a lot more. I've learned not to be so surface level. I loved Shanté, right? But the reason I didn't think it was going to work because I had a very surface level thing that I wanted, right? And I think just opening and unpacking myself through therapy, I've become a lot more emotional, right? And that emotional attachment to her has flourished our relationship sexually as well. So if you realize when you get stronger in the emotional part of things, everything else flourishes. And I was coming in with I came in with a very selfish, surface level mindset. I don't know. I think I now worship the ground Shanté walks on instead of trying to think people need to worship mine. She's an absolutely, and like I say it all the time, incredible woman. And I think about my actions and more how they affect her. Now, I think that's something I really saw on the show was like what I'm doing here on the island in the bonfire. She's breaking down, asking about how am I supposed to tell my kids this? How am I supposed to show and that, hurt me a lot. And so now it's a lot more thinking before I act, thinking before I speak. And even listen, we're not perfect, right? I don't want to come here and be like, we have a beautiful, perfect. There's arguments. We still have a normal relationship, but now it's all right, babe. Listen, what's going on? How do I do better? And let's fix it. And it's easier said than done, but that's why we're working towards it. And but I've loved therapy. I've loved being more emotional, being open more, and I love just valuing Shanté more. And she's been my rock, and I've been hers, and we're going through life together.
Can I be so bold as to give you a hot take from my seat from what you just said?
Yeah. Sure.
What are you going to say? You're on my podcast. You're going to say no?
Yeah.
The ego stuff you talked about, like you had the swagger and ego, and like, that whole thing, based on the very little you shared in your past, what else are you supposed to do? If there's nobody telling you, I got you, you're great, I'm proud of you, you either go, like, give up, or you go, fuck everybody else, I'm the man, nobody gets in here, I'm going to do this. So that's me letting you off the hook. That's what I hear there. The other thing that I think is so valuable here for anybody else watching this, I call this an agreement of intimacy. So one of the things that I'm sure Shanté was drawn to you is that you make everybody in the room happy. You're a strong man, confident man, skilled man, earner, all that stuff. And maybe to some degree before therapy, there's a part of you, Brion, that says, I'm not supposed to show emotion. I'm going to have this backbone. And when you break down and sob or say those things that are in your heart that you thought you'd never say to anybody else, that gives permission for the other person to meet you there.
Yeah.
And that's that agreement of intimacy, and somebody's got to go first.
Right.
And the way relationships, in my opinion, just an opinion, I'm a game show host, not a therapist, caveat, I need to run that as a lower third, is that when you show that soft belly, show your fears, let the tears come, it gives the other person a place to go, we're safe, not scared.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've noticed when you're a kid, I can't imagine you crying as a kid, to be honest with you, Brion, but you sob for whatever reason, and as soon as you're done sobbing, you're like calm and want to take a nap. That's why it's important. That release is there for a reason. That's the valve that's the antidote to a lifetime of stuffing it and holding it tight. So, listening to you guys today, having the space to look beyond what the trolls and everybody say, I have such hope for you. As a couple, but individually. I mean, Brion, I have such a soft spot for you because nobody should have had to live the life you've lived. And now you get a chance to live the life you want.
Right.
And you're doing brave stuff like therapy and looking into the ugly stuff with your partner and feeling for the first time in your life what it feels like to be supported and to ask for support.
Right. Yeah. Well, we appreciate it.
It's huge.
Yeah, we really do.
Anything you want to say before I let you off the hook?
I would say this time has been, I mean, if this is like a PSA to people, for me, I will take the hate, and I understand I looked insane on the show, but if we can just, for me, it hurts to see Shanté going through what she's going through and the things that people are saying to her. So as a boyfriend, I would just if we could show a little more kindness, understand, you don't have all the answers and you don't know every reason behind everything we did, and you never will. But we respect the disagreement, but please just be a little more kind, because it does take effect on both of us. I think I called her this morning, part of my emotional opening. And I was like, babe, just come downstairs. I said, this is just really getting to me. As much as I don't want to fight it, it's every time seeing our relationship on TikTok and pictures of us, and people are like, this is the most atrocious couple you'll ever see, and it's like, we've worked through a lot of that, and we want people to enjoy us as a couple. So that would be my only thing. Like, for me, I get it. I look, Mark,
yeah,
I'm surprised Mark didn't slap me like on TV. Like, I look crazy. I look crazy.
I think the request you made is noble, and I hope that people hear it. I'm going to tell you that nobody gives a shit, and they're still going to judge you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What matters is when you look at each other and knowing your truth, because I tell you right now, those of you watching and listening, I put any of you down on the bonfire and sit you down and talk about some real truth. I don't care who you are. I don't care about cheating, not cheating. If we dig deep enough, you're going to be just as flawed as anybody else, because you're human. Flawed is the wrong word. Less perfect. Less than what the image is supposed to look like, right? And if you've got a relationship that's going to last, the only thing matters is how raw can you be with each other. Yeah. Shanté, last word?
I mean, even though this was a really tough experience, I'm thankful that it showed me a lot about myself. I'm thankful that he got something out of it. Just both of us to grow individually. I know they keep saying, like, you all don't need to be together, but we've really grown individually that I think has overflowed into our relationship. And so I just think that's the best part. So
I think you've said it, because it's not about he changes, therefore I'm okay. She changes, therefore I'm okay. What you say is you grow individually. And when you've done that growth, it either works or you've grown apart. And when you commit to growing together, that agreement of intimacy, therapy, looking at the stuff you never want to look at. It's ugly. It's like soot, right? That just needs to get swept out of your chimney. So yeah. I applaud you guys outside of the cameras and all that bullshit. You're doing the actual work that couples do when they want it. Yeah. And I don't know what your future holds, but I'll dance at your wedding if it happens.
Last thing I'll say is we do appreciate you, Mark. I want to give you your flowers. You did an incredible job. I know people everyone's gonna find they got a problem with everybody on the show. I think your teeth look great. You did an incredible job, and I'm very happy for your success. And I hope that you get called to do 30 more shows. But
Oh man,
kudos to what you do and impacting lives. So
that means a lot to me. I got love for both of you. I really appreciate you coming on. With everybody coming at you, and you get an offer to do a podcast, you got to be like, no. So I appreciate you trusting me and coming on here. And I hope the people, as I kind of say goodbye to you guys, I hope you guys listening can get past your judgment, can get past your self-righteousness. I don't mean to come at you, folks, but we all do this. And listen deeper. Every relationship may not fit in the box that makes sense to you. But if it makes sense to the people in the relationship, that's all that matters. So anyway, Brion and Shanté, love, keep in touch. If you need me, I'm a DM away. And wish you all the best. Those of you watching and new subscribers, hey, so grateful. So grateful. I love talking about this stuff. If you're down, I'm down. So thanks for being here. That's all I got for this week. I'm out. And thanks, everybody. See ya.
Thanks, Mark.
I really need to find some signature sign off that's cute, but I don't have them. Maybe it's something like, this is Mark and this is my teeth, and we both say goodbye. All right, I'm going to go home and cry.